The Himalayan thaw continues. Another top Indian official is visiting China. This time it's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. His visit follows a high-profile trip last month. That's when National Security Advisor Ajit Doval travelled to Beijing. So 2 major visits in 2 months. What is brewing? Is the India-China reset gaining momentum? Let's take a closer look. Misri held 2 major talks today. The first was with China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi. The second was with his counterpart, Misri's counterpart. China does not have a foreign secretary, so Misri's counterpart is the vice foreign minister. And what did they discuss? Simply put, moving on. The ties were strained after the 2020 border clashes in Galwan, but last year India and China struck a border deal. They agreed to pull back soldiers and resume patrolling. But China wants more. Wang Yi said he's hoping for a new beginning.
You are the last delegation of foreign guests we receive in the year of the dragon. But this signals we'll have a new beginning. So I'd extend welcome to you in the first place and wish you success in this consultation and could reach common understandings.
It wasn't just about a warm greeting. Let me quote Wang Yi further. The 2 sides should seize the opportunity, meet each other halfway, explore more substantive measures, and commit to mutual understanding, mutual support, and mutual achievement rather than mutual suspicion and mutual alienation. So China's message is clear. Enough of these tentative moves. Let's push ahead with more substantial measures. And what would those be? Most of China's demands are financial. They want to resume direct flights between India and China. They want to relax visa curbs for Chinese nationals. They want to lift the ban on Chinese apps. They want Chinese journalists to report from India. They want more Indian movies in their country. This is China's wish list in a nutshell. And how did India's Foreign Secretary respond? He said the ties are heading towards stabilization.
We are on our way to stabilizing the relationship. I cannot overemphasize the importance of communications between our 2 countries, and I would like to specifically record the contribution that you personally have made in maintaining these communications at various levels between our 2 leaderships.
India is thinking along the same lines. It has agreed to a host of new measures, all of them designed to reset ties with China. The first is to resume the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. Many Hindus undertake pilgrimages to sites in Tibet. These trips were halted after the 2020 clashes. They will resume this summer. Second, India and China will cooperate on cross-border rivers. Now, this is significant because of China's new dam. It is being built on the Brahmaputra River. It's being called the biggest dam in the world. Last month, India had objected to it. New Delhi claimed it was not informed by China. Third, direct flights are being restarted. Relevant teams will meet and discuss the technicalities. The hope is to resume flights as soon as possible. 4, India and China plan to expand public diplomacy. The idea is to reach out to ordinary people, to educate them about each other's countries. And finally, both sides are looking at the long term. They want transparency and predictability in ties. So these are the main takeaways from the talks. Now, 2 things stand out here. First, there is no mention of the border. And second, India is meeting China halfway. We have agreed to flights and normalization. But there is no commitment on Chinese apps or visa rules. Does this mean the border is sorted? Because that was always India's main condition. You cannot normalize ties unless the border is stable. We know that patrolling has resumed along the line of actual control, which is the de facto border. But de-escalation is yet to be done. There are still more than 60,000 Indian and Chinese troops in Ladakh. The goal is to pull them back, to return to the situation of 2020. Yet, the Indian statement does not mention the border. Nonetheless, one thing is clear. Both sides are clearly eager to reset ties, which is why the Foreign Secretary headed to Beijing in the first place. He's a China expert in the Indian government. He was India's ambassador to China when the Galwan clashes happened. In fact, Vikram Misri has a Chinese name, Tang Yongsheng. That's what the Chinese government calls him. His visit also coincides with a big change in global politics, the inauguration of Donald Trump. Trump has threatened tariffs on both India and China. He has also warned BRICS countries against de-dollarization, so India and China are both pushing this. They want to settle trade in local currencies. So there is an alignment of interests between India and China. New Delhi should keep two things in mind though. One, the indications from Trump are positive so far. His Secretary of State's first bilateral meeting was with India, which means that he will prioritize New Delhi. Also, Trump has not imposed tariffs on China yet, so maybe India should see how things unfold on that front. And reason number two, China is undermining the reset. Their dam in Tibet could affect Indian regions downstream. Plus, they're creating new counties in Ladakh on Indian land, illegally occupied by China. So India needs to be careful here. A reset is always desirable, but it should happen on fair and transparent terms, not out of compulsion. We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum two-way defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send the special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Pretty measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
We were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote efforts. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.